and they're all alone. And we talk about what is romantic music. Romantic is larger than life. Both ends. Romantic music, romantic time period, the art from the romantic time period is all exaggerated life. And then if you talk about what's happening historically in the romantic time period, it all goes together. So you may not talk about that, but when you're talking about the bicentennial or the whatever, there's all the American music that you can play along with it. You could talk about Francis Scott Key and the Star Spangled Banner. You could talk about so many things that will reinforce what's already happening in your classroom.
Black history.
Black history. There's a huge one. And you did a great job.
And they're still going to do that, so I'm sure they'll call you. But you can explain.
Yeah, I would always bring over my jazz band, and we'd make it a point to, perform some Louis Armstrong, or to perform some John Coltrane, or to perform some Count Basie. And then you get back into the history of America. Oh my goodness. Our musical world in America was shaped. I'm sorry, our whole world in America right now has been shaped by music. Even today, if you listen to this Star Spangled Banner on the Super Bowl, and the halftime show at the Super Bowl, it was horrible. I'm sorry, but and the problem is that they didn't have all the pitch correction, all the technology of the pitch correction, because so much of that was live performances. So music has shaped who we are today. The accessibility of technology, when we're talking about technology with the kids, the accessibility of technology has changed how music is produced. Because back in Franz Joseph Haydn's time, or Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's time, when they wrote a piece of music, it took months and months and years for that to travel across the countryside, because they didn't have, hey, let me shoot you this MP3 with your email address, and then you could hear it across the world. That's just not how music worked. So when you guys start talking about history, and that's huge on that very last point, the demonstrate knowledge of how music reflects particular cultures, historical periods and places. The historical periods is what I focus on most. I'm going to kind of go backwards here. Identify characteristics of style in musical selections. I'm going to again reverse this and tell you how I use nursery rhymes in my classroom to teach music. Is anytime I'm teaching 6/8 time. I mean, 6 beats to a measure, the 8th note gets the beat. You don't have to know what that means. But what I do is I always teach them Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. And then I count from 1, 3, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my music students start seeing on the page and going, oh, I know that nursery rhyme. Now I'm going to bring that nursery rhyme in to help me teach, or figure out what this music is. How can you do that the other way? Well, in math, if you guys are counting in threes, if you're trying to teach them their 3 timetables, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they know that 3, 6, 9, and 12 are divisible by 3, because you're using that musical, a musical in 3 in order to teach them that. So again, I'm just going to keep on going back to it. I'm not trying to have you guys say, close up your children's literature books and let's talk about music. That's not, I mean, you guys can do this. And when you get into the classroom, yeah.
I'll insert something here too. I did a lot of these types of songs in the classroom. And if you start to sing them over and over again, what you're going to get is the kids are going to go on. So what we did is we changed up the style. One time we would sing it operatic. They loved it. One time we would sing it country. One time we would sing it rock. One time rap, and I'd let them do the whole beatbox and the stuff like that. But I was teaching through the different styles. We were still learning the content of the song, but I was allowing them to express, and I would let the child pick a style. You know, Susie, what style would you like to sing today? You know, I want to sing whatever it might be, and we would do that. And so you can kind of talk about different styles of music just by taking your teaching material and singing it in a different way. The kids love that.
Right. And you're not actually even teaching the style. They already know the styles.
They do know the styles.
They already know the styles. And then when you say, okay, well, let's do it in a waltz this time. And the kids don't know what a waltz is. Now you're going to sing it in 3. And that might be tricky. So, all right, knowledge of strategy. I'm again going backwards because that's, by the way, if you guys aren't being taught this in your education classes, the new push in education, and it's not a new push, but they're using these words, is start teaching with the end in mind. Start teaching with where you want to be at the end of the school year, where you want to be, always teaching with the end in mind. So I've got no problem going from backwards to the front. That's how I teach all my